Hello and welcome back to my channel where we're going to talk about affordable housing. My name is Jayson and I'm founder of Turn the Key Real Estate. I look forward to really getting into some topics that you'll probably have some input on. So please, as we go through this, drop those comments below, whatever your thoughts are, good, bad, or indifferent. I'd love to hear your feedback. And if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and the bell so you get those alerts when I bring you new content, because everything that I do is for you, like good old Brian Adams said back in the day. So affordable housing, it's interesting because I live here in Rocklin and next to Roseville, outside of Sacramento, and so many people talk about how expensive it is to live here. And you know, it's definitely not the cheapest place that I've ever lived in my life. I think cool that we are finding some places being built that are affordable for more people, but at the same time, what is it going to bring to that area? So let's get into it. First, we have, this is from Fox 40 News. New housing development in Rockland offers affordable rent options. So again, this isn't for purchasing, this is for rent. These are apartments, but this is called the Terracina at Whitney Ranch. This is an apartment complex of 288 units, and it is geared towards the working class, as they say, and having residents at a more affordable rental price. This is based on 30 to 70% of the median income. So you will be able to get these apartments, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom. I think all the 1 bedrooms are gone, so it's 2 and 3 now. But if your median household is at $35,370 to $82,530. And here it talks about the apartments themselves will be ranged in between, the 1 bedrooms will range between $592 to $1,374, while the 3 bedrooms will range from $781 to $2,007. About 35 apartments are still open, including the 2 and 3 bedroom units. Like I said, the 1 bedroom's already rented out. But that's crazy to think about. I always think back to my very first apartment in Rancho Cordova off of Zinfandel and Sunrise over there by what's the new, I think it's a CalFit or something over there, or now it's not even CalFit anymore, near 50. And I got in there at $475, and when I moved out, when I went into the Air Force, it was, I think my rent had already gone up to like $525, $565, something like that. So to think that, and that was in Rancho Cordova, which is a more affordable area, that you can now get a apartment, a 1 bedroom apartment in Rocklin for $592. That's insane to think about. But you know, it makes it possible for, you know, a young guy or girl that is making, you know, 40 grand a year, what it looks like, right about that, and you know, they're trying to make ends meet, and maybe they don't want a roommate, and so why not? I mean, I didn't have a roommate at 18. It was, you know, one of my own space. So I do think that's pretty cool. As long as, you know, again, personally, I hope they're not just, you know, slamming people in there and having, you know, 3 people in a 1 bedroom house, because I think that's where some of the challenges come from. But again, that's me personally. Now, I did find this quote from the USA Properties Fund President Jeffrey Brown to be rather interesting. He says, "I feel like they refer to this area now as Placer Valley, the Roseville Rocklin Lincoln area, but I feel like you can still live the American dream in this area with the quality of life and opportunity." When has the American dream become living in a 1 to 3 bedroom apartment. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. You know, maybe you don't want the upkeep of a house or whatever, but I believe that the American dream has always been to come here and own property. And I believe that's still to be the case. But hey, maybe you have a different perspective when your job is to build apartments and you're a developer that profits off of those rental incomes. Maybe your view on the American dream is a little bit skewed, but I bet he doesn't rent a 1 to 3 bedroom apartment. I bet he accomplished his dream of owning a home. Again, that's just my thoughts. This apartment community cost about $104 million for the USA Properties Fund to develop, and was built without local or state subsidies and used only tax credits. The Terracina at Whitney Ranch joins 35 other USA Property Fund communities in the Sacramento area region. So that's that on the affordable housing. Maybe things will become less affordable now as the A's are coming here. As if you didn't see my last video, go check that out, talking about what used to be the Oakland A's are now just the Athletics. They have no home, as Sacramento is a temporary home. So excited, so excited. I'll be going to the home opener against the Cubs. But it talks about, could the A's temporary stay in West Sacramento impact the city's rental market? And a baseball team plus staff, you're probably looking at, I would imagine, 50 to 65 people. But let's face it, the A's have the lowest payroll in the entire Major League Baseball system. So, I mean, I think the ballers on the A's are probably at $2.5–3 million a year, when that's like the bottom of most Major League Baseball teams, and the majority of Oakland A's players probably making in that range of 800, which is minimum wage, to about 1.1 million. So they say here, whoever Manning is, they said it's hard to get accurate information on exactly what's happening in Sacramento in such a short time period, in that 3-year period, because Tower Bridge Property Management says that there's so few luxury places to rent. Now, I mean, like I said, I also understand reality, and not most people don't make $800,000. I think top 1% in California is right around $600,000. So $800,000 is still a good amount of money, but we're not talking about the fact that these are all multi-millionaires moving in and are going to want a lavish 5,000 square foot luxury apartment by any means. But what it will do is also, it is also going to bring about 2,000 jobs to the area, which is going to probably create more of a demand on rent. And personally, I'm also curious what that's going to do to the prices of hotel rooms, because as these other teams come in and they bring their staffs, and you know, that's 40–50 people, we don't have that many luxury hotels. You've got the Kimpton. I know of one that's being developed by a friend of mine, kitty corner from the Kimpton. There's a couple other hotels, you know, nearby Sacramento, but that's gonna put those at capacity, you know, because they're already pretty popular hotels, so it's gonna increase their prices, I'm sure. But again, I'm also super excited to see what it does, the impact it makes on our economy here in the Sacramento area. So stay tuned on that. You know, maybe some of the A's come out and rent luxury spots, you know, out here in the Roseville Rocklin area. I'd imagine they probably take up some of the Natomas area just outside of Sacramento. So stay tuned for more on that. But yeah, again, let me know your thoughts on what the A's coming here might do, and whether or not you are excited about the former Oakland A's, now just the Athletics, coming to Sacramento. And man, I pray that we keep them here. That would be so amazing that within 3 years they become the Sacramento A's. And then lastly, we've gone from some luxury stuff. You know, we started with affordable housing, and now I wanted to discuss and end here with something that's near and dear to my heart, which is homelessness. It's a passion of mine. As a veteran, you know, a lot of our homeless are veterans. Some just say they're veterans because they need something. But if you haven't seen it already, check out my video on my goal and desire to end veteran homelessness. But back in August, Newsom said, "No more excuses on homelessness." Newsom warns counties. Has California done all that it can? And I think it's sad, interesting, you know, in this article, which we'll drop below, he's got his cameo as though he was actually doing some work on the side of the road. Issued an executive order, and then went and did a visit, of course, a couple weeks later. And Newsom praised Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass for reducing homelessness in her city by 10.4% and said his criticisms were aimed at the counties. As former county mayor, I intimately appreciate the role of counties as it relates to their service communities, or counties need to do more, he said. If we don't see demonstrable results, I'll start to redirect money. And that will start in January, which is now last month. In December, he slammed Sacramento County for delaying implementation of new laws easing restrictions on new conservatorships for people with severe mental illness after the county cited a lack of appropriate treatment facilities. And he then continues to put pressure on Sacramento. He said that Newsom's first warning to counties signals his diminishing willingness to be the face of California's thorniest issue as he approaches the second half of his final term. The state has poured $24 billion into trying to fix the problem, converting hotels into housing for homeless people, and sending $4 billion in grants to local governments to spend on homeless. But the reason tents continue to line the streets, there aren't enough shelter beds, and the steep cost of California's housing markets mean people are pushed into homelessness daily, said Dr. Margot Kushel, a professor of medicine at UCSF and leading researcher on homelessness in California. So it says here there are about 70,000 shelter beds in California, far less than the 180,000 people who are homeless on any given night. That's 110,000 people that don't have a bed to sleep in. Yeah, I'm somebody that if they have a handout, usually I'm giving cash, and frankly, I don't care where the money goes. I've never been in their position, so I'm not going to be one to judge. But it's incredible that we have a governor that would issue all of these things and talk about pulling money away when in this article he goes on and on about you've got to clean the streets. Well, where are these people going? If we don't start with the end in mind, then where are they going to go? So those are my thoughts. It's not intended to be political. He just happens to be the governor, and I don't care what initial you have in front, if it's R or a D or an I in front. You know, we've got to figure out something as it relates to helping to heal our veterans. And I've heard, many times, well, they don't want the help. Only 10% of them want the help. Okay, let's start with that 10%. And, let's see what we can accomplish by helping those 10%. And when I say we, I'm here. If somebody knows of a way to help get involved, I love it. I love to help. I know there's a lot of red tape. Feel free to reach out. And that's that. So thanks for watching. Again, I look forward to your comments, your feedback. And if you're watching this far, please hit the thumb, hit the subscribe button, share this with somebody who may be finding some value here. And I will talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.